Welcome to episode 101 of Targeting Winners. From up in New York, we got Darren. In Michigan, we got Pete. And I am Tim. I am coming at you from an undisclosed location, being held by Al Qaeda, I guess. You'll never know where I am. So,
do they bet on football too?
Send in your best guesses.
From that curtain, I'm going to say a seedy Motel 6 just outside of... I don't know.
Well, Duluth? I don't know.
If you think I'm in Florida, they're all seedy hotels in Florida. That's how we do things down here.
That's a good point.
All right. Well, today we're going to be doing our AAC preview. This, as always, if you would like to watch along, we are on YouTube. You can like and subscribe there. We hope you do. Help us out. It's free. It's really easy. It helps us out. You can find us on Spotify and Apple. And you can leave comments, reviews, and all that stuff. And we did have a review. We had a comment, I guess, right? From well, Darren, take that, walk us through that.
Yeah, just a nice review, which I hadn't checked Apple. You know, we host it on Spotify, but we send the feed to Apple. And we had somebody just leave a review, say maybe like 6 weeks ago or so, a couple months ago. So yeah, sorry for just catching it. But it was, I mean, the review was good. He gave us a 3 out of 5 stars. Loved the early previews, but would prefer that we made some more bets. But there's some reasons why during the preseason with these conference previews, you're not going to get a ton of bets from us at the time. Just we've mentioned in the past, we don't really tie up a lot of our bankroll in futures bets. We're like holding that much money hostage for 4, 5, 6 months. And again, once you get into the regular season, when you have 60 to 65 games between weekdays and Saturdays, there's a bigger betting menu. So if you were checking us out last season, all our regular season shows, you got anywhere from 8 to 12 bets a week between the three of us. So when we're doing a conference preview like today, we're doing the American Athletic, you only got 14 teams, and you can basically bet on, hey, are they going to win the conference or what their win total is going to be. So, the bets we make, we actually make them. They're all locked in before we meet up here. So, there's just not going to be a ton of things in the off season. We do this just to kind of preview the conferences. We love college football. Hopefully if you're listening during the off season, you do as well. But if it's bets you want, they're coming. We just need more. Yeah, we just need more than some group of 5 conferences to bet on. If you check out our Big 12 show, Tim made like 6 on his own. So I think the bigger conferences tend to maybe we make a few more things. And I actually have a bet that I added for the Big 12. We'll get into that towards the end. But so, thank you for the mostly positive review. We're glad you're enjoying these previews. We enjoy doing them. But the futures market is not one that we really heavily invest in too much. But Pete, I'll let you continue because I know you had a couple thoughts on that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, we're doing the previews of the conferences to set the stage for the year, which is the idea, right? And yes, to put some early bets in, but the idea is to set the stage for bets later. And that's where we focus most of our effort, right? We're not trying to tie our bankroll up too long, but to have it viable and liquid for us to make bets through the season. So really that's the plan. Yeah, we do find some bets early on for futures that we do jump into, but we try to limit those, trying to be cognizant of everyone's bankroll, right? And just not tie it all up so early. So your comments make sense. I agree. We're going to be making a ton of bets coming another month from now or whatever that is. We're getting there close. So just stay tuned, keep listening to us, and there'll be plenty of opportunities for bets as we go forward.
Yes.
And again, we're not going to give out like 10 or 12 futures bets, just to give them out when in actuality we may have only made 2 to 4 bets between the three of us. Because like I said, we've actually bet what we're giving out, and we know there are some shows out there that may say, hey, here's 6 bets to make for the week, and in honesty, that person or people have maybe only bet 1 or 2 of those things themselves. So not a big fan of just throwing stuff out there just to make it sound like we're all over every futures market on every conference, because we're not. But yeah, I mean, what the bets we give out, we've made them already. So
Right.
we'd rather be transparent, be like, hey, this is what we bet. We have leans. I mean, every show we've got a handful of things that we like, but there may be just a factor or two that prevents us from betting them. And also, when those regular season shows come around, in addition to all the bets you'll actually be getting from us, we also go over about a dozen other games at the end that we haven't bet on, but they're popular games. They might be the primetime game on ESPN or ABC or CBS Sports Network or whatever. And, there'll be ranked matchups, conference matchups for maybe two teams near the top of the conference. So in addition to those 10 to 12 bets, you're going to get a lot of our thoughts on other games as well. So, we appreciate the positive review. And we
Yes,
do thank you
absolutely.
for listening. And by all means, man, if you've made some bets or want to share your opinion, check us out on YouTube. Put them there, man. We're always trying to get this community built up. So, yeah, keep commenting. Any thoughts? We're all ears. I mean, we're all old. We maybe can't hear, but we can still read.
Right.
So,
and if he is watching on YouTube, we do have a crawl on the bottom of the screen. It has all the bets that we've placed so far. There's a lot of over/under win totals. So yeah, there's a lot of conference championship plays in there as well. And Darren being our chart stat dude, at the end of the year, we go over pretty much all the bets. He's got some kind of chart or whatever the hell he does.
Yeah,
and,
it's mostly ugly, but I think Pete will talk about a potential live stream in a week and a half or so. I'm actually going to share that chart with everybody who happens to pop in and just kind of get you caught up on everything that we've done, which at that point will be the 7 conferences we've covered. Plus, you guys each made a Heisman bet. So we're going to recap all that stuff. And I believe we're sitting at around 27, 28 bets, somewhere like that so far, just in the futures market. So
that's a lot.
That is a lot.
I mean, for the futures market, that's a lot of bets. But as Darren said, everything that we put out there as bets, we bet on ourselves, right? So we are managing ourselves as much as we are educating you, right? And that's the goal here.
Right. And with a name, I guess his name was Noel Fan. So I'm going to need more people because I think we're in for another long season. So Misery Loves Company. So Noel Fan, was it 2158 or something like that? Was it something? But
initially I thought it was you.
Yeah, why would
how many Noel?
So you're thinking I would review the show and only give us 3 stars?
I think you give us at least a 4.
I'd give you 3 stars. I mean, I'd give 5.
Dude, my picks last year should get 0 stars. That's another topic for another time. We'll get into my week 0 failures before too long. So yeah, stick around with
that. All right, so we're going to move right in to the AAC, and I think in our text chat we chatted earlier. Went out for sushi the other night, and I saw the AAC roll and ordered it blind just because we were doing this conference this week. Big mistake.
Yeah, they change the American? Aren't they now just the American conference now? I thought
they are indeed. Yes.
Yeah, so,
well, I wish
no more the AAC.
I wish I knew that before I ordered the asparagus avocado cucumber roll. That's what it was. There's not enough sauce in the world for these tree-hugging hippie vegans to make their sushi rolls tasty. It's just
the name of that. Shame on 2 stars for even ordering that.
Why did you order that?
It was blind. We didn't say anything. It said AAC. I'm like, all right, well, we're doing that this week. I'll order that. It was like $4, and it was overpriced for what it was.
I was going to say, you overpaid. You got ripped off.
Well, I got an octopus appetizer, so I poked out all the cucumber and took the pieces of octopus and put it on top of the rice.
Fair enough.
So it was the AOC roll or the ACO roll, or whatever you want to call it.
It was an AOC roll. Perfect.
There you go. Well, I had to pay for it. Anyway, let's go into it. We're going to start with the bottom and work our way up. Tulsa. They got a new coach. I believe the new coach is also going to be calling plays, I think. Darren, this is Tulsa. They are at plus 12,000. If any alums out there want to make a bet here, their win total is over or under 3.5. Plus 115 for the over, minus 145 for the under is what I got here from Hard Rock Bet. Dan, let's start with you. What are you thinking about?
Yeah, DraftKings usually have a more generous number for any Tulsa backers at plus 15,000 if you're so inclined to bet on them. Yeah, they do have a returning quarterback, and we always kind of give a little love and one positive check mark for anybody that's bringing back quarterback, especially in these Group of 5 programs. Their number 2 running back, Vyron Ellison, is also back. They did add Ricky Hunt Jr. From Ohio. He was their 3rd leading rusher last year, so that could be a decent add for them. The wide receiving core is basically all brand new, so there may be a little bit of an issue there. And only 1 returning starter on the offensive line, although they did bring in 8 offensive line transfers as well. So that's possibly going to be a work in progress here. Yeah, it looks like defensively 12 portal ads, but only 3 returning starters. But I'm a believer if you had a really bad defense and you're only bringing back a handful of returning starters, I kind of look at that as a positive because I don't think it can really get too much worse for Tulsa. I mean, 42 points a game allowed was like 135th in the nation. Keep in mind, there's only 136 teams. And just in the American Athletic Conference, that jumped up to 48 points a game. So lots of work to do for Tulsa here. As far as their win total, looks like I'm seeing 2.5 at DraftKings here, juiced to the over. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, the Navy game's on a neutral field, so I don't even know if you can count that as a home game. They host Tulane. They go to Memphis. They go to Army. Non-conference, they got Oregon State in there. Not a lot of confidence, but then again, I mean, there's something to be said for at least a returning quarterback and hopefully a brand new defensive core, but no confidence here for me to do anything Tulsa related at this time.
Anything positive, Peter?
Well, I mean, I think they got the right coach. This is a turnaround situation. This coach has turned around other programs, so I think he could, right? This is a program that's been swirling the proverbial bowl for some time here. Offense should be decent. Defense is abysmal, as Darren mentioned. What I do like, I mean, because this team is not doing anything this year, right? But there's 2 things, right? The first thing is that this team, if you look at the portal, he brought in a bunch of linemen on both sides of the ball. So he's trying to shore up the line, which makes a heck of a lot of sense going forward. So I like that move. The second, they can score. So, could they be an upset threat somewhere along the way? Could they do something? I think that's possible. So as we watch them through the season, they could be playable in certain weeks, depending on who they're playing, where they're playing, and all of that. With their offense, their defense will give up a ton of points. That's not in question. But outside of that, this is going to be a long year. It's a rebuilding year. But I think this team could have a future with this coach. We will see. So that's my 2 cents for now.
All right. Well, nothing for them on this year. Let's just move along to Temple. 10,000 to win the conference. The over-under is 3.5. Let's go back to Darren for the Temple Owls.
Yeah, and again, if you're a DraftKings user, you can get 20,000 if you love using Temple. So definitely the highest price team on the board there at DK. You're going to see a theme, I think, with these first 4 to 6 teams that we talk about as far as rebuilds, coaching hires that we actually like, and kind of starting from scratch. And again, here, I love this Casey Keeler hire for Temple here. I mean, this guy's been a head coach for 32 years. He's had 28 winning seasons. Not sure he's going to make it 29 right off the bat here, but I mean, definitely a solid coaching hire. The quarterback position intrigues me. Evan Simon is actually returning, but Giovanni McCoy, who transfers over from Oregon State, I think might actually get the job. And if he does, I think that's positive for this program. 4 starters return on the offensive line, but they need to play a lot better. This team only averaged 19 points a game. The offensive line gave up 37 sacks. Running back Jay Ducker, who was on Sam Houston last year, he comes in to be the number 1 guy. He had almost 800 yards and 7 TDs last year, so a nice grab there. Most of the wide receivers return, except for Dante Wright. Other side of the ball, as many sacks as the offense gave up, defense sure didn't do a whole lot. They only had 15 sacks as a team. Also gave up over 220 rush yards a game and 36 points a game as well. The D-line is actually pretty deep with some experience, but that back 7 is really new here. So, again, this may take, 2025 may be a, let's just throw something out there. Let's see what we got and go from there. But this coaching hire is one of my favorites here for this conference. And Temple, I mean, they've been a below average program for a while, but they weren't always that way. So I kind of like Temple's future, but I don't really like anything here. The win total at DK I see is 3.5 juice to the under. Taking a quick peek at some of their games. Yeah, I mean, they got a non-conference game against Oklahoma. They go to Georgia Tech, and then the conference. They got UTSA, Navy, Tulane, Army on this schedule as well. Wouldn't surprise me if they hit the under here, but I do think this is a program going in the right direction.
Nice, Peter. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, ditto on some of those things. First, the coaching hire. Actually, both of these teams, the coaching hire, I like them both. I think they got the right coaches in place to help them grow. Now, it's challenging, as we talked about in some of these conferences, to grow when the portal is gutting you all the time. So that is a challenge. I had McCoy penciled in as the quarterback here, so we'll see if that happens, but that's what I expect will happen. The issue, defense, right? I think they were 123rd in defense last year. That ain't going to cut it. Right, so they need to get better there. I don't know how much better they got on defense, to be honest with you. They have more depth with it, what they did through the portal, but I'm not sure they are, truly like frontline starters that are going to change the core of this defense. Depth, so that's better. This is a team that I think will move in the right direction. Their strength of schedule is 99th or something, so it's relatively manageable here. But yeah, this is a team that's been struggling since 2020. I think they're 13-42 since 2020. It's been a tough period. This was a team that was good for a while, right? So there is potential here with the right coach, which I think they have. I think they could grow into that, but they're a couple years away, right? This is a patch year moving forward, and I think that's what you're going to see. So those are my thoughts.
All right, well, next up, I've grown to not like this school just because they fired Biff. But we got Charlotte. They are plus 9,500. Over under is still 3.5. New coach. They got rid of our favorite coach. Darren, what are your thoughts on Charlotte?
Broken record time. Another new head coach that I actually like. Tim Albin, who was a coach at Ohio, went 30-10. With a MAC title in his time over there. So definitely as much as we'd love Biff Poggi, I think this is a great hire for this program. However, this is like an insane rebuild job here for Coach Albin here. Decent quarterback battle shaping up. Either UNC's Connor Harrell or Grayson Loftus from Duke will be the starting QB. All the skill positions here are basically transfers that he brought in. Offensive line only has one returning starter. The defense only has 2 returning starters total. One of them is their lead tackler, Reed Williford, so at least they've got something there. This, again, another program I think is headed in the right direction with this coaching hire. But yeah, DK's got plus 15,000 and a 2.5 win total here. Yeah, I don't know. The non-conference, they got App State. They go to Georgia, which will at least be a nice paycheck. They host North Carolina. Yeah, I don't know. I want to see them at least hit 3. And they'll have a quarterback with some kind of experience at least, but a ton of new parts to work in. This might be one of the biggest rebuilds in the Group of 5.
Over to Peter.
Agree 100%. This is a major rebuild, like the coaching hire again. So just like spin the record again here. I think I agree with Darren. This is a bigger rebuild than the other two. I think this is a pretty major undertaking here when you look at this rebuild. Now, that said, I do like the coach. So I think there is some potential to move up. The problem this year is their schedule's not that friendly, which is going to hurt them, as Darren alluded to. So, I mean, that's going to be a challenge for them. I don't think it's going to matter who actually is the quarterback at this point, because I think they're going to have some issues here. Yeah, I'm not very high on this team right now. Once again, a good team to watch over the next couple of years to see what they do. But as of right now, I'm not sure they're doing much of anything in 2025.
All right, we're going to keep this moving. UAB, they're at plus 9,000. Win total 4.5. Is this the year Trent Dilfer pulls it all together?
No.
Darren, we'll start with
Why?
you.
Finally a coach that I'm not a huge fan of.
I didn't think so.
I'm not really sure why they brought this guy in when who the heck was it? Brian Vincent, I think his name was. Took over, got a nice bowl win, and then they're like, hey man, thanks, but we're not giving you the job. We're going to go for the big splash, the fancy name, and that's been not good. I'll just leave it at that. But again, okay, so you've got a returning quarterback with experience, Jalen Kitna. Not a terrible year. Did have 11 picks, so obviously needs to improve there. They lost their top running back, Lee Beebe, but brought in UTEP's top running back, Javon Jackson. So a little swap there. The UAB was a pretty good offensive team, but now they're losing their top 2 wide receivers, Cam Shanks and Amari Thomas. Those guys had over 120 catches, over 1,300 yards, and 14 touchdowns between the 2 of them. No returning starters on the O-line. And defensively, not much better. 1 returning starter from a unit that gave up 34 points a game. 30-plus transfers total for Coach Dilfer here. Wasn't a fan of this hire when it happened. And I don't see another good year here. DraftKings got 4.5 for a win total juice to the under. I can see that actually hitting the under. I mean, Army, Memphis, South Florida, Navy for the top teams on their schedule. They go to Tennessee. They go to UConn, who's actually seems to be up and coming under Coach Moore up there. Not a fan. I don't like anything about this team. Did not bet the under, but I did kind of lean that way. I don't like what they're going to put on the field this year.
Anything else, Peter?
If I had a bell to ring, I would say coaching hot seat right here, right? We didn't like this before. We talked about Trent last year. I didn't like the hire. I think he's out. It was a splashy name. The results have not been good. I don't think it's going to get any better for Trent anytime soon. I don't see where this program's going to go anytime in the near future. I do not think Trent will be sitting in that seat by the end of this year. So that's my prediction right now. Although the rest of this does not matter, because that would suggest that it's going to go right down. And I think it's going right down. So I'm actually higher on the other teams we talked about today than this one. I think it's bad and ugly. So that's my thought.
We'll have to have Mark on from Coach's Hot Seat. I wonder what the line is on Don't Forget and Shake Hand. So that'll be
soon, very soon.
This is the year, and UAB goes 12-0 or whatever, and then they'll be playing this clip for a while. So we'll all look pretty. I don't think that's going to happen. No, I think we're safe. So we're going to move on to Rice at 8,500, win total of 3.5. Another coaching change. He got a new guy from the FCS. The Bloomgren is out, I believe his name was. So Darren, the Rice. What are we talking about?
All right, this team. I'm intrigued to see what this team looks like here with this new offense. Apparently, this coach Scott Abel runs a shotgun spread, which, if you look at some of the stats that accumulate at the FCS level, again, this is all the FCS teams put together. First in rushing yards, second in time of possession. Right there, if you know anything about how bad the Rice defense was, that's going to help tremendously. So I like that. QB battle is interesting. They got 3 guys that could all be QB1. I have no idea who that's going to be. They did lose their leading rusher to Houston, but their 2 second guys, Quentin Jackson and Tajay Atkins, are both back. All the receivers are new, but with this type of offense, there's not a whole lot of passing. So, I mean, I guess if they can block well and occasionally catch the ball, that group should actually be okay. Offensive line, only 2 returning starters. So, if this offense translates, I like what Rice is going to put on the field here. Defensively, that whole secondary is all transfers and brand new players. The thing with the offense, their red zone scoring percentage was only 66%, which was actually second worst in the nation. So this season's all going to come down to how this offense translates. So I'm interested to watch it. And of course, I'm scared to death when a team is completely changing their identity on one side of the ball. So I can't throw anything down here. And the schedule, again, I see DraftKings got 3.5 juice to the over. Memphis, Navy, South Florida, Texas, San Antonio. They go to Louisiana, Lafayette, which, as we talked about on our Sunbelt show, looks like a pretty good team coming out of the West. They go to Houston, who we also think is an improving team in the Big 12. Or I'm sorry, they host Houston. They don't go there. And they host UConn. Again, another good team. So the schedule doesn't set up well, but I would like to watch a Rice game early on just to see what this offense looked like. And again, not knowing who the QB is going to be, big stay away factor for me. So nothing here with Rice, but definitely looking forward to see what they look like.
Sweet. Any additional thoughts, Pete?
No, I think Rice is interesting, right? I think that major offensive change is going to be interesting. I know we're at the bottom of the barrel of the conference here, but all we've said so far is defense stinks, defense stinks, defense stinks, right? So this team can move the ball on some of these teams. I think that will happen. I almost don't care who the quarterback is, because as long as they can manage the game, I'm not sure it's not their DNA to be flinging the ball down the field. So I think it'll be interesting to see what they do, right? I think it could be a little old West Virginia-ish kind of thing going on here. I'm curious to see where that goes. So I agree with Darren. It's going to be interesting. Defensively, they are a gap control kind of team. They've been decent against the run, so I think they can stay in games. I think they can move the ball. I don't know. I think there's a little bit of upside here. I think the over/under and wins 5.5. Is that correct? It's somewhere in that ballpark.
4.5. No,
4.5. Okay, so I was actually slightly leaning on the over in the 5.5.
no, for Rice, I have 3.5. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say 3.5. But yeah, it's juiced to the over at DK, and I think that's the right way to go. Yeah.
Kind of like that over. I'm leaning heavily that way. Heck, I might place a bet by the time I'm convinced all the way through here, because I think, could they win 4 games? I think they could win 4 games here. So I think it's intriguing that offense could do something. If the defense keep them in games, I think that 4 is possible. So those are my thoughts right now.
All right, we're going to move on to FAU. Tom Herman out. They got a new coach. They may have a new offensive coordinator, but he's not going to be calling the plays. I think the new coach is going to be calling the plays. They are at plus 7,000. Over under for win total is 4.5. Darren, starting with you. Let's just keep rolling with it. What you got?
Yeah, I mean, this kind of interests me here. The new head coach, Zach Kitley, who was an offensive coordinator at Western Kentucky, brought over a couple skilled players from Western Kentucky, most notably quarterback Caden Veltkamp, who actually is pretty decent. Western Kentucky always had a decent offense the last few years, so I think Florida Atlantic is definitely going to see an uptick in their offensive performance. The problem is defensively, and stop me if you've heard this before. One of their top 13 tacklers is back. No starters from last year are back on this team. So with the new and improved offense and possibly a defense that's not very good, Pete, you're our totals guy. If anybody out there listening loves overs, this might be your team, man, because they should put up some points, but they may have some issues stopping people from putting up points. So they could be the most fun team to watch, but not touching them.
All right,
yeah, I agree. That's interesting, right? Tom Herman, it's about time that regime ended. It was not going where I would expect it to go after what I thought was a bit of hype back in the time when he got in there. So, like the new head coach, young guy, I think he's going to bring that kind of air raid thing in here. So that'll be very interesting to see. Yeah, to Darren's point, they're going to score some points. They're going to be fun to watch. That over is interesting, right? This is 2 teams in a row that I think the over is a little interesting, right? So I'm not ready to fire on either one of these yet, but my concern with them, right, versus the last discussion we just had, is I'm a little concerned their defense may have regressed through the portal, right? That is my only concern, right? Is that I think their defense, I think they've lost some players that are going to hurt them. If they kind of backfill those, then we'll see how that plays out. So I think the first game or 2 of this season will be very telling on this defense. So we'll see how it plays itself out. But I think the offense is going to be interesting. So could be a fun team to watch this year. I'm not sure where I'm going, but the over is intriguing. So I agree with Darren on that one.
Yeah, schedule's not terrible. I mean, it's something, non-conference. They host UConn. They go to Maryland. Maryland's a shell of whatever they were last year.
Yeah.
That wasn't very good. So,
No.
I mean, I've seen enough Veltkamp, Western Kentucky, watching some of those midweek games.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, I love what that offense could look like.
And if you heard, where does Tom Herman now? Did he get another job, or I haven't heard anything?
I don't think he has.
It's weird how coaches just rise so quick and then just fall. Like he was at, where was he? Houston.
Yeah.
He had that court. I should remember the quarterback's name because he torched FSU in the bowl game that year, in the Peach Bowl, or whatever the hell bowl they call it now. I was there with Parlay Paul, but and then he goes to Texas, top of the food chain, and now he's out from AAC conference team. So
yeah, I mean he's cycled through some pretty big programs here. If you look across his resume, right, Ohio State's on there, Houston, Texas. He was with the Bears for some time, wasn't he? So I mean, this is a guy that had some juice coming with him, and that has not come to fruition at all.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, college football coaches and maybe NHL goalies are just like the same. It's like they're hot.
You're right.
It's like, wait, what happened? Where'd
they go?
You were just stopping anything. Now you can't stop a beach ball. It's like, what's going on? And now all of a sudden I don't know, can't put it together no matter where he goes. But now we're going to go. We're going to go to North Texas, plus 2,000, 6.5 win total number. I don't think they had any coaching changes from last year. I don't think I saw any. So, Darren, what are you thinking about North Texas, the Mean Green?
This is my surprise team. I kind of like what North Texas is going to put on the field. Listen, they're going to score. Okay, no matter who's playing on that side of the ball, they're going to put up some points. I don't know if you guys remember watching the First Responder Bowl last year after Chandler Morris had opted out to go to Virginia. They brought this kid in, Drew Mestemaker. Dude threw for over 350 yards, had like 3 or 4 passes, 40 yards or more, 70-yard touchdown run late in the game, showed him puking in a garbage can on the sidelines. I mean, that's our kind of guy, baby. When
right
we
there.
Lead a group of 5
he probably had an AAC role. That's what made him puke.
Maybe that would do it. Now, the other thing is that there's no guarantee that this kid's going to start. So until I know what's happening here, apparently they bring in this Reese Poffenbarger guy who was at Miami last year and Albany. Year before that,
Yep.
Shout out to the Capital District.
Great things.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know who the quarterback's going to be. I hope it's Mestemaker because he certainly showed he can handle the spotlight of a bowl game. I mean, at least give him first shot. He's familiar with the offense. Just a couple issues here. The leading RB running back Shane Porter is gone, but Mackenzie McGill stays. He had 10 rushing touchdowns, so he may be the number 1 guy. Their top wide receiver, DT Sheffield, went to Rutgers, but just about everybody else from that group is back. The offensive line will be brand new, so that certainly gives me pause to fire here. And again, we talked about some possible over teams. I mean, last year this team scored 33 points a game and gave up 34. So I mean, if you like arena football, this may be. God, does North Texas play Florida Atlantic this year? Jesus, I hope not, because that's gonna be a disaster. Over of 88.5. But the one thing I do like about the defense, and this is why there's my surprise team. So the new defensive coordinator is Skylar Cassidy. He was from Sam Houston last year. Sam Houston had a top 50 defense last year. So not only did he come over to be the DC of this team, he also brought like 5 Sam Houston defenders with him. So this is a defense that actually should improve by quite a bit, which is the reason why I like them. The 6.5 juice to the under initially scares me a little, but I may take a little bit of plus money and in the not too distant future fire on this over here. They do have to go to West Point to play Army, but South Florida, Texas, San Antonio, and Navy all come to them. The only non-conference issue, they play Washington State, but they host that as well. So this is a fairly friendly schedule. But again, I don't know who the quarterback is. And again, an entirely new offensive line worries me a tad. But if I find out that Mestemaker maybe gets this job, I may take a shot at the little bit of plus money on the over 6.5. I like what I saw in the First Responder Bowl, man. So I don't see why he wouldn't get the shot. But yeah, my surprise team. I think that defense is going to take a pretty decent step in the right direction and make a bowl game.
Peter.
Yeah, correct me if you heard this before, but this offense is interesting and could be fun. This defense was abysmal last year. Now, with everything Darren says, right, this is new coordinator, a bunch of new players coming over with him. If that works, if that clicks, then I agree 100%. Right, this team could be interesting. If that defense does not get fixed, it's a problem, right? And I think that's where we sit right now. So I'm not sure how to read that. I do think the defense is going to be better. The question is, how much better are they going to be? And we'll see how that plays out. But the offense is going to be fun. So I think this will be an interesting team to watch. I wouldn't bet anything either way on this team right now simply because I don't know what the defense is going to be, right? And if you've listened to me now for a year and a half or whatever it's been, I get scared of defenses that can't seem to stop anybody. until I see it actually improve, it concerns me. So we'll see, but I think they're heading in the right direction with the right defensive coordinator, some of the players. So I think it will improve. I just don't know how quickly right now. So that's my thoughts.
Okay, we're going to move along to my surprise team. We're going to talk about ECU. Again, as we mentioned, shop around for odds. Pete had them on FanDuel at 1,700. I got them at 1,600. They are ECU. I'm going to pull up their schedule right now. Oh, that's a terrible schedule. There it is. We can see it better now. They seem to turn it around with the new coach. The new coach is pretty much the coach that was there last year for the second half of the season. I think they were like 7-2 under the new guy or something like that. 5-1, 8-1, whatever it was. I like the way the schedule looks out. They do play at Tulane. This is at plus 1,600. I think with this schedule, I think they could get to the game. They'll be in the game. And like I said, I like hedge hunting. So this seems to be a good spot with plus 1,600. As long as they don't pull Oklahoma State from a couple years ago. If I have to do a hedge, it shouldn't be that much, or take the path of least resistance with getting 16-1. Hopefully a good old Hard Rock bet will offer me a little buyout and go from there. But I like the way it's set up. They got 2 bye weeks. They're pretty close to each other. They got a bye week before Tulane, in between Army and Tulane. So they have a tough game. They got hosting BYU. They got NC State, but they beat them last year. I think they beat them. That's the team they beat in the bowl, if I'm remembering correctly.
Literally and figuratively, there was that big.
Yeah, that's right. There was
it was like,
or something.
it was ugly, man. Holy crap!
So they got them again. So that up August 28th. Tune in, folks. Might go to a football game and a fight will break out, or vice versa. But yeah, they got the number 4, the quarterback. He was not the starter, I believe. I think he came in the middle or halfway through the year last year and was a lot better than the guy they had. So I think this would be a big improvement with these guys. I can see them being, whatever, 6-1, 6-2, whatever, to get into the conference game. Obviously, we'll get to who we think we're going to win later. Any thoughts with Darren? What you got?
Yeah, I don't totally share your optimism here, but I mean, I totally see where you're coming from. But you mentioned the quarterback, Caden Hauser. He did not play the entire year, but in half a season, I mean, he had over 2,000 yards, 18 TDs, but also 11 picks, which is a lot for a full year. To only have that in a half a year, I mean, those turnovers need to get cut down. But a lot of their skill positions are all going to be brand new. And again, same with the defense. Not only are they only bringing back 2 returning stars on that side of the ball, they lost a decent amount of their depth as well. So I know Pete and I both get scared of a decent defense. And I think their defense actually wasn't that bad. They were on the middle of the pack in the conference in most defensive stats. And now that you're losing everybody, I do worry that the defense could take a step back. And also, you were right. They did get smoking hot second half of the year. But if you take a look at some of the teams they played, like Temple was there, Tulsa was there. I believe Charlotte was on that schedule as well. I mean, they did what they should have done because a lot of teams on that back half of the schedule were not
all those teams are on the schedule again this year. So if they do
that's
it again.
true. Yeah, you're not wrong there. But then you look, NC State's on there, Coastal's on there, BYU, Army, Tulane. I mean, that start is kind of brutal. And then you finish with Memphis, Texas, San Antonio, and FAU, which FAU maybe not great, but I mean it's still a road game for them. So as is the Texas San Antonio game. So I think their path might be a little bit tougher. They do get that break in the middle. That bye week before Tulane is obviously a beautiful thing. But yeah, I mean the 6.5 juice to the under that seems about right. Looking at the schedule, it's pretty kind of front heavy and back heavy. So we'll have to see. But yeah, just kind of scared to death a little bit with this quarterback. He's definitely got to cut down on these picks. But yeah, again, the coaching hire. I'm glad they kept the guy. He certainly deserved his chance at the full-time gig. So we'll see. And I hope for your sake your bet is correct and you can hedge that with somebody else. But yeah, I don't have the
any thoughts, Peter? Anything else?
I'd just like to support your pick a little bit here. I think this team should be defense forward. Yeah, I know they took some hits, but I actually think their front seven is pretty good, right? And they're going to lean on that. So, I mean, if that defense and that front seven, I mean, their secondary is not great, so that's going to be a problem. But if that front seven can be good, which I think they can be good, then I do think that your bet has some juice here. I really do. I mean, the offense is what it's going to be, but I think this is a team that's leading with defense. They did last year. I think they can this year. We'll see how it plays itself out. So I'm kind of on the fence with them, but I want to see how this defense looks the first couple weeks. If it looks good, like I think it could, I like your bet. So that's my thoughts.
All right, getting down at least into the triple digits for odds here. We're going to go to Army. They're at plus 900. Win total is 7.5. Darren, what you thinking about Army?
God, I am Bryson Daly is gone. That is terrible for a team that relied on one guy as much as Army did relying on Daly here. Looks like Dwayne Coleman's going to get the first shot to replace him. But I mean, you're talking about a guy who accounted for, about 2,700 total yards and 41 touchdowns, 32 of which came rushing. The running back they did have, we talked about our Big 12 show, Kanye Udo. He's now at Arizona State. Noah Short and Hayden Reed are back. That'll certainly help. But, this team doesn't really pass the ball a whole lot. So, your top two rushers are gone. Three of your starting offensive linemen are gone. But defensively, this team looks pretty damn good. I think if they can still, they didn't lose a ton of starters, which we can't say the same for a lot of these other teams here. And they held on to a lot of their depth. So I think defensively, they should be just fine. I mean, will they only give up 15 points a game like they did last year? I don't know about that. They may be on the field a little bit longer if Coleman can't run the ball as well as Daly did. But yeah, I mean, otherwise I like them. Schedule's not terrible. They can certainly, what they got. I don't even get a win total because I'm in New York, as is Army, but I see 7.5 at FanDuel from what Pete is telling me. Yeah, I mean, this could certainly be an 8-win team. The schedule's not awful. And again, just as we're talking about Army, we haven't talked about Navy yet. Also remember, guys, that Army-Navy game does not count in the conference standings. They play after the season's over. It'll count towards win totals. It's their 12th game for each of those programs, but it will not count in the conference standings. So keep that in mind as you're handicapping if you think either of these teams are going to get it done. But yeah, I mean, I like him, but no Daly scares me to death, man. Yeah. And I can't bet on him anyway because I live in New York. So I guess I get a cheap way out there making a call.
Right. Any other thoughts there, Peter?
No, I largely agree with Aaron here. I think that defense is going to be forward. I think it'll be good. Their schedule is favorable to them, so I think that will lean into their favor. So the question is, how do you replace the offense that you're lacking? Now, granted, this is Army. They do that, kind of triple option thing they like to run and all this other nonsense. So, who knows what comes out of that? It's hard to tell. Yeah, that's a big loss on that side of the ball, but I think defense will be good. Schedule's favorable. I kind of lean toward the over on that one. So, I don't think it would be a bad bet to look at that over. I'm not making it. I'm leaning that way, but I don't think it would be a bad bet. So that's my thoughts.
All right, we're going to move this on. We got USF coming up. They are at plus 700. Their win total is 6.5. They do have a returning QB, which is a big positive. Darren, anything to add with the QB?
Well, his health, I guess, is a concern from what I've read. If he's healthy, I love what this team's going to do offensively. Their backup, Bryce Archie, wasn't terrible. But if Byron Brown is healthy, this is his team as well. It should be. So that's huge if he plays and he's 100%. I like this team. If he's not 100%, gets hurt again, or doesn't start the season as QB1, I don't want anything to do with these guys. Their top three rushers are gone. They did get a Charlotte transfer, Cartevious Norton. I love that name. It's the only reason I wrote it down. But he had over 500 yards and 7 TDs with Charlotte last year. Their top two pass catchers are gone, even though Keyshawn Singleton is back. A lot of the transfer ads were guys that just didn't get a lot of stats. So it's tough to look at these guys that they're bringing in and know whether they're going to contribute right away or be any good. The defense actually isn't too bad, though. I mean, 6 returning starters, a lot of their depth stayed. But again, they gave up just about 30 points a game. So, and one of the things I saw, their time of possession offensively was just over 25 minutes a game, which was worst in the nation. So they certainly didn't do the defense any favors. So yeah, I mean, if Norton can be that RB1, they can control the clock a little bit more. I don't think the defense will be that bad. But again, we've got a starting QB whose health is a question mark. I see the win total 6.5 juice to the under. As far as them winning the conference, their conference schedule is not too terrible. But if you want that win total, just know 3 of their non-conference games are against Florida, Miami, and Boise State. So I believe the spread. I think that Boise game is week 1. It's at South Florida. Spread's only like 9.5, somewhere around there. Not sure how Boise could handle the humidity because last I checked, it's hot in Florida in August. But this all depends on Brown's health, and since we don't know anything as we're sitting here, I read one thing that said, yeah, he's 100% ready to go. I read another thing that was like, well, if he's ready to go, all right, well, I didn't want to hear that, but going to avoid until we know what's up with Brown.
Peter.
Oh, Darren just stole my first line, which is if Brown is healthy, this team is going to be good, right? And I picked this team as my surprise, just leaning into Brown being healthy. If he's healthy, this is going to be fun. They're going to be good. They absolutely could win this conference. And so if you want to take it's just not that much of a stretch. What are they, plus 700 or something? It's not that big of a stretch, but still, I think at that price, they intrigue me. Granted, right, if Brown's not healthy, that'll be the end of that, right? So it's a little bit of a, damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing with this bet if you make it. But I like this team with Brown. He is fantastic, fun to watch, fun team. The defense is solid. I think this team could absolutely be in contention if Brown is healthy. If not, it really doesn't much matter. That win total, I wouldn't touch it because I think the other non-conference games are just a little not what I want to look at. But from the conference perspective, I think this team has a legit chance to win this conference if Brown is healthy. And that's really kind of it.
All right. We're going to keep this moving. We're going on to Memphis. Plus 550 to win the conference, 8.5 win total. They made some news this week. They do not like being in the AAC or the AC, or whatever we're going to call it now. I thought Florida State wanted out of the ACC, but my God, did you see what they're offering the Big 12? Like $200 million over the next 5 years, and even if then the Big 12 can kick them out after 5 years, even if they don't like them or whatever. So, damn,
that's a team that wants out.
Yeah. So, all right, we got Memphis. Darren, what you thinking?
Not liking this team at all this year, man. Sorry, this is my disappointment. There's just so many losses here on both sides of the ball. We watched a little Brendan Lewis, a Nevada game when we were in Louisville last year. Not at that time super impressive, but he is a 6-year kid, so maybe the change of scenery will do him some good. But I don't know if you're going to replace Seth Hennigan. I mean, in his time there, dude threw for almost 15,000 yards or something like that. I mean, you're replacing a guy who's practically a legend in that part of town. Mario Anderson, their leading rusher's gone, as their second leading rusher, Brandon Thomas. That's 27 rush TDs and about 1,700 rush yards you need to make up. Although they do have a guy, Greg DeRosier. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Sorry, Greg. I'm sure you're not listening anyway. He could probably flourish as a new RB1 to help out. Well, I think Brendan Lewis is going to be the starter. I guess A.J. Hill, a freshman, has a shot as well, but we'll see. All the receivers are pretty much portal ads. They only have one returning starter on the offensive side of the ball, and that's an O-lineman. And again, defensively, only one returning starter there. So I think they have over 20 portal ads on that side of the ball. A lot of the depth is new. I mean, these guys just lost a ton. And at that number, what did you say you had 550?
550.
550.
No.
FanDuel was 490, something like that. So yeah, I mean, 5-1 is just way too low, man. And again, Tim's got that schedule up there. I mean, the schedule's not awful. I mean, 8.5, their win total looks like DraftKings has it juiced to the under. The Arkansas game is going to be interesting. Yeah, that game I kind of want to see. They don't have a lot of really awesome teams on that schedule. Towards the end, you got Tulane, East Carolina, and Navy on there, but God, man, just so many losses. And Brandon Lewis in 5 years hasn't really, proven to be like the guy. So, I mean, maybe he does. With this schedule, he certainly could be the guy. But yeah, just so much to replace on both sides of the ball. Like
Not
even
gonna
with
get a lot
that
of Delta
schedule, like
miles either. I mean, all their games, with the exception of Florida Atlantic, they're like
yeah, they don't really travel, which is certainly helpful.
I got a bus to a lot of those games.
Yeah, that's those odds are way too low for me to take a shot on anything with this team. So, quarterback question is always kind of a stay away for me unless it's somebody proven. Lewis really isn't that guy yet. So, I'm avoiding Memphis. They're my disappointment. I don't even think they're making the championship game here.
Avoid Memphis. Peter, anything to add?
I agree. Avoid Memphis. I mean, I think you said it all, right? With that statement this week, this is a dumpster fire. They want out. I think it's going to impact their play on the field. Their defense is a problem anyway, which I think is going to be an issue all this year long. But, I think this is a team that thinks they can be better, wants to be better, and wants to get to a better conference so they can get better talent. So I think they're going to wallow through this year and try to make their move out of here, and that's what they're going to do. I do not see this going well for them. I think that defense is porous and going to be a problem. That 550 number to me is absolutely ridiculous. I wouldn't touch them at that. I wouldn't touch them at 1,000, to be honest with you. I think that number is just doesn't make a lot of sense to me, especially with what's transpired recently with them wanting to leave. So I would just stay the heck away from them altogether, right? If we've talked about other teams that, USF and others that could be a potential here, I don't think Memphis is it. I would just avoid.
Yes. No, sir. We don't like them.
Yes.
No. Yes. All right.
I might like him at 1,000, unlike P, but
nope. Okay.
I was like,
nope.
Caveat in there.
That's a nicer. I mean, double the odds. I would consider it, but
no.
Yeah, not a fan.
All right, we got another team with a returning quarterback. We got Navy. They're at plus 480. Win total's 8.5, getting up there now. Darren, what are you thinking about the Navy midshipmen?
Love them. This is my pick to win this conference. And maybe you had mentioned the returning quarterback. This whole offense pretty much comes back, and that offense was really, really legit. Love Blake Horvath, Alex Texa, and Eli Heidenreich as their top runners are back as well. A lot of the receiving core returns. They are actually passing a little bit more. It's not the Navy that we all know and love. They got to work in a couple three new offensive linemen, but if you go to Navy, you probably can play offensive line pretty decently. So I'm not really too concerned about that. The thing that does worry me is their secondary pretty much they all left. They all graduated and are doing wonderful things for our country now. Thanks, guys. But yeah, if they can get any kind of play out of their secondary, this team's going to go over that win total. They're going to be in the championship game. Did not bet it, but I may. I kind of think I've talked myself into it here, but yeah, this is my pick to win. Looking at that schedule there, they go to Memphis. So we've already talked about how much we're anti-Memphis here. They host South Florida. The non-conference, they got Army and Air Force. They go to Notre Dame. We all remember how that worked out last year, but that doesn't affect whether they can make the AAC title game or not. So
yeah,
I like them to get there. And I think, I got some question marks for some of the other teams that we've looked at and some that we haven't looked at yet. So if they win it, I'm not going to be surprised. The number, I don't like the number, though. DraftKings got plus 380. I'd love to get 5-1 on these guys, but yeah, I think they're playing that first week in December for this conference title.
Peter.
The nice thing about when you're talking about Navy is kind of old school, right? They're not getting eaten alive with a portal like all those other teams are because of the rules with, the service academies and all that. So you get some continuity. Now, they had graduations, as Darren mentioned, which hurts, and it's going to hurt the back end of a really good defense. This defense is legit and good at the national level. The question is the secondary, right? What's going to go on with that? Can they plug in players that can fill those gaps? If they can, I agree with Darren 100%. This team could win this conference. Absolutely. This defense is truly legit. So that's the challenge with a team like this as well, is now where the portal doesn't hurt them, that also doesn't help them, right? Because they can't say, oh, we have 4 secondary people leaving, so we'll go pluck some out of wherever. They can't really do that very effectively, so it hurts them on that side. But that said, I think this team is legit. That defense is really legit. I think they're going to be fun to watch like they were last year if you like defense, and I do like watching good defenses. So I want to see what they do the first couple weeks here with the secondary. But I agree with Darren 100%. If two of the replacements in the secondary are solid and good, I think this team is good, and I think that's a really interesting and good bet. So I am high on Navy as well, simply because they are defense forward, and that defense is truly legit. So those are my thoughts.
All right. Move along. UTSA Roadrunners. Here we go. Getting to the nitty gritty. They are at plus 410 on FanDuel. The over under is 7.5 wins. Once again, another returning quarterback. Darren, let's keep it going with you. Leading off here. What do you got with the Roadrunners?
But before I get into that, did you guys see the thing yesterday where apparently somebody on Memphis Instagrammed UTSA's quarterback, like all their plays and signals?
Are you serious?
Yeah, I caught a quick thing. Like somebody took an Instagram of Owen McCown's, or a picture of Owen McCown's Instagram, where supposedly some former Memphis player was like, "Yeah, here's everything," and kind of told them what was going on. And Texas San Antonio shockingly beat Memphis that game. Go figure. But yeah, I mean, this is, we've said this about a few other teams here. Love what this team can do offensively. Cannot stand what they look like on the other side of the ball. So,
yep.
Not going to get it too much here. Owen McCown is back. 4 returning starters on the O-line is nice. Leading rusher Robert Henry is back. 5 of the top 6 pass catchers are back. So, but there are some concerns here. The offensive line did allow 30 sacks. Defensively, they're sack happy too. They registered 42 sacks, which was 5th in the country. So, but again, they still allowed 30 points a game. So if they're not sacking the quarterback, they're giving up points. Also, as a team, 3rd in the country with penalties, 113. That's not going to help your offense or your defense. So that's something that obviously needs to be fixed. So a couple too many questions here. That number is kind of low. I see plus 425 at DraftKings. Looking at that schedule, again, not terrible. I see 7.5, a little bit juice to the over. I could see 8 wins if they can stop anybody. I mean, just looking at that middle there, Incarnate Word. Yeah, we like that. Never thought we'd mention them here, but Colorado State, not solid. Temple, Rice, Rice in North Texas. We actually kind of like. So I don't know what to expect there. But yeah, I mean, again, they'll score, but will they stop anybody else from scoring? So, and again, 113 penalties last year. Come on, man, that's like 10 a game. I mean, you cannot win if you're doing that. So I think they could be an 8-4 team, but yeah, some of that stuff scares me to death. So, number way too low for me to bet on them winning the conference. But yeah, not touching that win total until some of that stuff's got cleaned up.
Didn't Cam Ward go to Incarnate Word before he went to Washington State?
He did, yes.
That could be a sneaky game. They may have the next Cam Ward sitting there.
Here you go.
Any thoughts on UTSA, Peter?
I mean, Darren just made my case for me. I have them as my disappointment for exactly everything Darren just said. Turnovers, penalties, porous defense. Once again, I think this number at plus 410 or whatever the number is here is ridiculous. I don't like that number at all. I think their defense is going to be a problem. They play undisciplined football, hence turnovers, penalties, all that good stuff. I don't like that at all. So I think that their offense is going to be good and serviceable, but I think their defense is going to let them down. And well, I'm saying the offense is going to be good if that offensive line isn't as porous as it has been. If it's as porous as it has been, then forget it. I mean, that's a real problem. I would lean toward the under on this thing, to be honest with you. I wouldn't touch them in this conference. We've talked about others that I think are way better, more balanced teams here. So I am not a fan. I'm staying away because of that defense and just the undisciplined play that we've seen in the past.
All righty. And here we go. The final team. We got the Tulane Green Wave. They are at plus 290. Win total of 8.5. They got a new offensive coordinator, I believe. The guy from where was he? Troy. new for
Well,
the coaching
that can't be helpful.
right?
If they got their defensive coordinator, that would be way better because Troy is a defensive powerhouse. But yeah, getting the offensive coordinator, I'm not sure.
Yeah, no.
So what are you thinking about Tulane here? Obviously, they're the big favorite to win the conference. Any final thoughts with Tulane, Darren?
I mean, they're not a big favorite. They're the favorite, but there's 6 teams that are all sitting around 7-1 or less to win this conference here. Obviously, a couple of huge losses on defense. Their quarterback, Darian Mensah, left for Duke. Mekhi Hughes, who had 1,400 yards and 15 rush touchdowns, he's gone as well. This quarterback battle between Brendan Sullivan, Donovan Leary, and Caden Samanza doesn't really inspire a whole lot of joy from me from an offensive standpoint. But Tulane is one of those programs that they will get some of the best players available in the portal just because of their recent run of success. So I look at who they're bringing in. They brought Florida Atlantic's number 2 running back in to take over for Hughes, so he should do just fine. They had a QB, Ty Thompson, who was kind of highly touted at one time. Apparently, he's going to play tight end for Tulane this year, so curious to see how that works out. Defensively, they got gutted, but again, they were able to pull in a ton of Power 4 players, so I don't expect a drop off from their defense, which is usually like top 2 or 3 in the conference. So I get why they're favored. I think the quarterback position is a downgrade. I'm not going to touch them at this really low number. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense to me that they are the favorite, but it's not overwhelming. And again, you got that 8.5 win total, but it's juiced to the under. They go to Ole Miss there. They host Duke. That should be fun. Duke's quarterback, who used to be Tulane's quarterback, that could be interesting. And home against Northwestern. A lot of people are high on Northwestern for some unknown reason. We haven't done Big Ten yet, so maybe I just haven't figured out why they are. But again, you look at that schedule. I mean, South Alabama, no Lopez. Tulsa's not looking promising. ECU, I know, Tim, you like them, so that may be a good game. At least that's home for Tulane. But then, Army, Texas Antonio, Memphis, teams that are supposed to be good. That's a tough little 4-game run right there. But yeah, the number's way too low for me to take them to win. And again, I mean, I still think defensively they're going to be excellent. It's just none of those 3 quarterbacks, I mean, an Iowa guy, come on. Why would you want a quarterback from Iowa? Ever.
They don't want their quarterbacks.
But I mean, the guy from Ball State wasn't very good either. I don't even know if Donovan Leary played last year, but I mean, he might be good. But Altmaier wasn't giving up that job anytime soon. So, huge quarterback question for me here. So, I'm just staying away.
All right, Peter, anything to add on Tulane?
Just that green wave is a great name. I mean, that's a fantastic name.
The logo is awesome.
The logo is awesome. The name is awesome. I love all that. I ditto, right? This is a team that's defense and trenches, right? If they control the trenches, they play good defense, their offense will be serviceable. I think they'll be okay in this conference. As I said, I actually like USF better than them, but we'll see how this plays. I did pick them to win because they are the favorite, and I think that they have been a good enough team to do so. But I do have questions on the offensive side of the ball, so we'll see how that goes. But I do think their defense will be solid and keep them in games. So the offense can produce, and that offensive line, which should be good, can protect the skill position players. I think they'll be in good shape to win this conference. But I think it's going to be an interesting season at the top of this conference, and that conference championship game is going to be really interesting. So we'll see how we get there. But for now, I guess by default, I would say they're the favorite to win this conference, but I'm not really sold on them entirely. We'll have to see how it goes out. So that's
all right.
Hey guys, let me quick get a thing here. While Pete was talking about Tulane, if any of you guys have the Score app and get college football notifications, Memphis playbook leaked in 24. Purdue has no concerns about inbound transfer who unloaded info to UTSA quarterback last year. So
why would you take that player? What the hell? Were you out of your mind? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, he's not going to do it again, right? I mean, that's insane.
I mean, but honestly, who wants Purdue's playbook? I mean, at this point, I mean
that's true.
But okay, so the NCAA, how is he not banned? I mean, like when you're that is disruptive to play. That is skewing odds. That is doing so Vegas impact, right? Like, why would you let somebody like that continue to play? I don't understand that. Like that's hands off. I
You're not
don't
supposed
get
to
it.
hand over your playbook. You're supposed to steal it like the other coaches do, right?
Exactly, but he should be banned. That's my position. He should be banned.
All right, let's wrap this up. We got our picks up here for the show for the AAC. Peter, let's start with you since you're right there at the first column.
Why not? So I said Tulane by default. I don't love it. I actually like this South Florida potential here actually a little better. I'm not betting it, but I like it. I think there's some really good upside there. UTSA, I made my discussion, my point about them being disappointing. I said future, but I don't have a bet right now, but I'm warming up to this USF thing. So we'll see where that goes, but there's a potential I'll go that direction. But for now, I got nothing.
Okay. I'm also with you on Tulane, just by default. I mean, it's kind of like picking Boise State in the Mountain West. Like, they're probably just going to win again. My surprise team, ECU. I'm loving them. So that's also my bet. I have them at plus 1,600 to win the conference. My disappointment, as I looked at all these teams, this whole conference is kind of disappointing. Totally lives up to that sushi roll I had. I do not see myself watching too many AAC games this year or AC games this year, whatever the hell they're going to be called now. This whole conference is pretty bad. I mean, Memphis is willing to do anything to get out. We'll just leave it at that. Darren.
Yeah, I just want to say I'm kind of looking forward to this conference in the next maybe like 2 to 3 years if all these coaching hires for the teams that aren't expected to do much stick around. I mean, if even a couple of these teams improve and, your Tulane, your South Florida's, your Memphis's all stay competitive, I think this could be a really fun conference in a couple of years. So I'll watch some of the games with some of these bottom feeders just to see how they're looking under their new coaches. But outside of Boise, I don't think I've picked a favorite to win a conference this year. So I guess I'm going to continue to ride that wave. I'm going with Navy. Like I said, that offense was pretty legit. Their non-conference schedule or their conference schedule is not terrible. Again, if they get anything out of their secondary, they should be playing, in the conference title game. My surprise is North Texas. Love the offense. Love the Sam Houston defensive coordinator coming over and bringing 5 of his guys. I think if they can even improve slightly, they'll do quite well in the, I guess we're calling it the AC now, whatever, the American Conference. Disappointment. Yeah, we kind of harped on Memphis. I just don't think that number justifies what they look like. I think their program is maybe just a touch below Tulane when it comes to getting some quality people to replace some key guys on their team. I just think that number is not worthy of a bet at all. And the bet, I understand, there's been no late realignment. I understand that Oklahoma State is not in the American Athletic, but I had been looking at that win total for weeks. It was 5.5 on DraftKings and FanDuel and BetMGM, and it was so heavily juiced to the under. I was like, as soon as somebody knocks that down to 4.5, I'm firing. And last week, DraftKings went to 4.5. At a nice plus number there, plus 140. So that's an add-in for me, and I get it's not AA related. But, man, we talked about Trent Dilfer being the first coach to go. It could be Mike Gundy. I mean, this team looks really, really bad. They have some of the least experienced quarterbacks on a roster. This looks like a 3-9 team. So
you just can't stay away from Oklahoma State, can you?
I am a glutton for punishment, man. But this time, unlike 2 years ago, I will be rooting for them to not do well in the Big 12. Yeah, I think this team's pretty bad. Finally got somebody to drop it down to 4.5 at a little plus money. So I'm
all right. All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for the AAC. I think, what's our next conference? We're going to do SEC
Pete,
next?
tell them about the live stream.
Oh,
Yes, sir, I will. So we are going to do a live stream with our SEC conference preview. The expectation right now is to do it next Sunday. So that is August 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern. So that is the plan for our live conference preview. So please come join us. Bring ideas, bring thoughts, bring anything. The more people, the better. The more picks, the better. Bring it all. Looking forward to doing that with all of you. So thanks, guys.
All right. Well, we're really looking forward to that. Getting more of your comments. As always, on YouTube, like and subscribe. It's free. It's easy. It helps us out. Also, you can do the same and leave a review like Noel Fan did at the Apple Podcast and Spotify. As always, we thank you all for listening and watching, and we will see you hopefully next week for our live stream of getting to the big boys now. We got the SEC coming up this Sunday, and we will see you all then. Thanks for listening.